Hello, friends. You're watching OBBM Live. This is Susan Hamilton. We are talking specifically about our response in the local business community to our shelter-in-place order, and want to make sure we're featuring the people that are associated with our network, as well as other businesses. Let them see that, hey, everyone has to morph. We're all having to do things a little bit differently, and reach into the community. So today, I'm excited about the focus being on Scott Peak Photography. Hello, Scott.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. We were just talking a few minutes ago. It's probably recorded that we were really kind of enjoying the pace a little bit, being at home. Now, in my environment, Scott, I've got grandkids here that have been out in the pool, and they may be popping in to say hi, and just know that we're just going to roll with that because I'm just happy they're happy.
Awesome.
And so, Bill was telling me you're up to some things.
We are. I mean, we've been doing a lot of work for a lot of years, working with corporations and working with a few private schools. And then, of course, starting late last week, I started getting phone calls as everybody was watching the news, wondering what was going to happen. And before you knew it, I was tens of thousands of dollars out of pocket all of a sudden, and all my revenue disappeared. And I thought, yep. Well, that stinks. And I'm not alone. I mean, there's a lot of micro and small businesses that had the same pinch. I heard of a few businesses that were so badly hit that they had outlaid a bunch of money for a big event, and then the event didn't happen and they had no way to recoup it. So a little different. I just didn't get to make the money that I was going to make. And so, you know, like many people, well, at least some people anyway, last week was kind of one of those weeks of, well, I wonder when it's going to start again. And gosh, I'm a little depressed. And gosh, how long is this going to last? And every week that I kind of calculate, maybe it'll go till this time. And you just kind of look at your numbers and say, is this how much more money I'm going to lose before this starts? And we want to make sure that in the process of moving from last week to this week, you know, I couldn't go a whole nother week of sitting and watching the news and checking Facebook and being pissed like everybody else. So I had that, you know, major freak out on Sunday, figuring, you know, okay, I'll leave that behind, got to get to work. And so, you know, this week I've been spending a lot of time working with and talking to a lot of different people, and not just so much asking, so what are you doing? Because a lot of people will then share their story like I did about what happened last week. And what I'm finding is those that get it, those that understand that this is a short-term, temporary, you know, excuse the language, crap fest, right? Realize that there's business on the other side of this. And so I'm trying to connect with folks that get it. And then I'm also trying to connect with families to ask them questions like, you know, what's the best thing that's happened so far since everybody's been home? And they don't want to answer that the first time. They tell me all the stuff that's not going well. I said, no, that's not the question I asked. What's going well? What do you love about this? Excellent. And people in a different mindset, and it's allowing them to share things that they took for granted. And, you know, it's allowing families to connect again.
Well, I'm seeing that, you know, in particular, you're having to change and morph. And so you've got some new, just what are the ways that you're handling the new environment that you have? Because yes, we all depend on revenue. It's funny, I've been mentioning it over and over again. The mayor in Allen said, you know, what business is non-essential? Now that's a very good point. I really like the way they said that. So how are you morphing to meet the needs of the community and rising to this challenge?
So, you know, as a freelance photographer, you know, I don't make any money unless I photograph. Well, because of this shutdown, I'm not in front of people. I'm not going in front of people for the safety of me and others. And so I have to look at what's coming. And I have to be able to book sessions and events after we finish this. Who knows when that's going to be. So what I've decided to do is put a program out there, and I've launched it on my Facebook business page a couple of times, is for anybody that sends me a receipt for any money that they've spent with a true local business, whether it be a small business, I mean a small local business, a mom and pop shop, something that's a one-off shop, something that's a micro business. If you them, send me a receipt and I will match the amount that you've spent up to $250 for product for a future session with me. And what I'm doing in addition to that is I've got a couple of businesses that have contacted me that love to be a part of the program. So I'm linking them back to my business page and talking about their business, and then reminding people of the offer. And so there's a couple of ways you could do that, and it's on the offer. You can email me or send me a Facebook link with your message. And so what I'm doing is just collecting those receipts and collecting the contact information. And once we know this is all over, I'm going to start sending folks those gift certificates. And if they're looking to schedule a session for family or for business or for branding or for an event, then they'll have some extra money that I'm gifting to them as a part of what they're going to do. And that's one of the things I'm doing, at least, to get people buy local. Go out and spend a little bit of money, and I'll reward you.
Exactly. Exactly. As you know, we've known each other for years, and the focus is for me, and I believe for you as well, is to get the local business really taking some control back of their environment, because it's never been more clear that the larger that the scope is, the less control local has, and that impacts us in all of these crazy ways. And we all have different feelings about what's actually happening out there right now, and our different responses to it. The bottom line is we care about each other, and it's time to start really making sure I agree with you, it's going to be over. And when it's over on the other side, I think we're going to be in better shape, because we had to take some time to listen. We had to take some time to listen to our family, listen to the heartbeat of our local community. What do they need? And rise to that in a different way. And it's making us more creative, having to ask, okay, what do you really need? What is something that we can do right now to support you? And in the process, it is a paying it forward. This is going to matter as this rolls on. And we certainly agree with you. Good for you. I love that. We will be sharing that. So Scott, let's see if I remember, is scottpeakphotography.com or scottpeak.com?
scottpeakphotography.com.
Yep, Scott Peak, Peek. We are going to add that. We'll make sure all of that information is in this video. So yes.
I've got a second thing coming up next.
I can't wait to hear it. I'm not done with you.
You don't even know about this one. So
I don't. Okay.
Think of every family right now in the world, and who is carrying more of the brunt of that family being around all the time and maybe not going out to eat? Who's carrying the brunt of all of that for the most part? Moms, mothers.
Clearly.
Right?
Grandmas.
What's coming up in May? Mother's
Day.
So now more than ever, we have to figure out quickly, how are we going to give mom and show mom the most love we've ever shown to her in these very tumultuous times of homeschooling and, suspending and kicking out your kids out of homeschool.
Don't you hear it all the time?
See on social media right now, right?
Yeah.
But we have to find a way to reward the connections that mom is having to keep together, and dad, of course.
Yeah.
And this unique chapter in our lives, as I mentioned on a call to my high school youth kids that I teach for faith formation, I said to them last night, we have never been given a time like this in our lives as a world, outside of a major holiday where you get a couple weeks off, that we have time to actually sit back and change the way we behave and our lives differently. Never have we been given an opportunity like this. And instead of being bored and watching more Netflix and doing stupid things and wasting time, what can we do with this? And so look at what mom and dad are doing for all of us, right? And look at the things that they're having to carry the burden for. And most children don't even know how much money is not coming in some cases. So here's the program we're putting together. A lot of dads and a lot of kids and even some moms won't know how to honor mom during Mother's Day, because we don't know when we're going to be, quote, set free, right? Number one. And how do we find that special, unique gift for mom that celebrates everything that she's done for us? So what we're doing is I haven't launched the specific dollar amounts yet, but we're going to have 3 different levels of certificates for a Mother's Day portrait experience. And here's what that experience is going to entail. Depending on the level that you purchase the gift certificate of, it could be just a session with some additional product credit already built in. It could be a session with a stylist that I have that can look at virtually, like we're doing today, the clothing options and getting the family or the mom or the dad styled in a way that's perfected for their photo shoot. Or another option could be, the photo shoot, a virtual styling, and oh, by the way, if everybody needs to get some hair and makeup done. right? So we're going to have a couple of different options. And what I'm trying to do starting next week is do some pre-sale gift certificates.
Good idea.
And the way that would work is, yes, some fathers may purchase them, but I'm also working with a number of real estate agents and other business owners who want to reward their clients. And they're going to have the ability to prepay for a gift certificate. Let's say maybe it's a $250 gift certificate, but the value of that certificate when they come to me is going to be about $400. Maybe they want to buy a $600 gift certificate, but the value to me may be somewhere in the $900 range. And then I've got others as well, so that we can give mom really the portrait experience that she wants, whether it be for herself, for her and the kids, or for the whole family, and then create some beautiful wall art that we could put on their walls after the fact. Never before have we ever had this kind of opportunity. It's, I think, a great time to truly celebrate mom.
I so agree with you, and it's the perfect thing. Being mom and grandma, I love it. It's my favorite role, and the pictures. That's what I want. That's it. I want pictures. Capture that moment for me. Capture that smile. I don't know if I told you this one's funny story. When my kids were teenagers, and they were all in high school at the same time, and they were all really pissy that year. I really had a hard time with my kids' attitude, and it was so difficult. Nobody smiled at me. They didn't want to do crafts with me for Christmas. Everybody was bucking and kicking and fighting about something all the time, and I was just really struggling to have a good attitude. So I went through our family photos, and I took pictures of my kids smiling and all the things that I'd ever had, and I painted popsicle sticks red and glued them together and stuck them around the tree, and I put my tree in my bi-level home so I could walk around it, and everywhere I went I saw smiling kids. And I was determined, because the pictures make such a difference, and it got me through, and to this day when I take out those ornaments, the kids love them. Oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. And it changed the whole, that changed everything about that season. And we were able to come together and really enjoy the holiday season. Attitude, pictures. Oh my goodness, what a brilliant idea.
I have one last thing. It's not an offer, but it's really a reminder. And so
yes.
Everybody that is in the middle of this, we don't have places to go. We don't have things to do. Everybody, seems bored per se, right? Why do we feel that way? Well, when we're in a normal life, we tend to fill all of our time with something to do, whether it be work or play or eating out or kids sports or, 10 different sports you got to go to on the weekend. And so what I'm challenging folks to do is, since we've had a time to compress and sit back and relax and or stress about it, one of the two, is think about what we're going to do on the other side of this, and how do we not overload our schedules again so that we're crazy busy immediately after this is over with. Because I think there's some peace in all of this as well, that we've been given this gift to be more connected to family, to find more love with each other, to be able to share time together, maybe even cooking more together than some people have ever done. And how do we bring that back together for a family unit, so that after this is over, the teenage kids don't immediately run every night, all night to their friend's house, no family connection anymore. So it's just a challenge I'm offering to everybody right now to think about.
And it is a challenge, because it is one for us too, because, I don't much care for being on social media all the time. And yet that's where a lot of people are, and you can't not be there right now, because that's where businesses has become the marketplace. And so more so than it ever was before. So those are challenges. How do we engage in that without letting it take all of our time and spend all of our time like this? None of us need to be doing that. So I agree. We've got to find more creative ways to do it. It's one of the reasons I always tell people, download the Offbeat Business app and get what you want when you want it on demand, when you've got an opportunity for giving yourself some business resources and finding these things out, because it'll help you from the scroll. That scroll is intended to keep your head there. And I would also second that, Scott, that it'll give you, right now is a perfect time to really be thinking about, even legislatively, we have not paid attention. We have not been paying attention to things that protect us, and this is a good time to really keep your ears open to what are those underlying messages that were good and positive, that got us where we need to go, who moved the needle, and start paying attention to that, because I think there's a lot out there that really just being busy it kills us in so many ways. I totally agree with you. Thank you so much. We're going to share these offers and make sure that everybody knows about how to get in touch with Scott. I've seen his work. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm excited to see what you're going to do with these. I'm getting in on that, on these pictures and paying it forward. So think about how you might work creatively in the marketplace, folks, because there's something that you can offer you can repackage things differently and look at this community differently and rise above. And that's what this video series is all about. We don't have to be, I know most of us do know better than to stay in the negative Debbie Downer kind of thing. We know better than that, but
Right.
it's still helpful to see, okay, how? And when we hear ideas like yours, it's inspiring. It helps us look at it and go, hey, that's an idea. I can do that too. And it builds up the whole marketplace. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Scott. ScottPeakPhotography.com is, I'm sure, where you're going to have all those things, but we're also, when we post this video, we will have all that information in there as well. Appreciate you so much, my friend.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Take care.